Hi, MCs. Are you loving the conversation so far? Well, now you can show that love around to your friends. Terrian and I have injected our fun vibes and funny lines into statement pieces you can now find in our store. So go ahead and take a look. And if you like what you see, put a card on it. You can visit us at melanatedconversations.com, check out our store, and we appreciate you for your support. This week on Melanated Conversations, we are chatting with the serial entrepreneur, Shauna Smith. Shauna is the founder of the Marketing Muse 360, a small branding and business development firm that primarily helps aspiring entrepreneurs. Through her work, Shauna assists with jumpstarting the business activities of her clients through effective marketing and branding strategies. And as of late, she recently launched a new business called Virtualocity with her business partner, Joie from the Philippines, where they essentially become global virtual assistant matchmakers. She has written 2 books, How to Brand Yourself and How to Work Virtual Assistants. In our chat today, we talk all things ranging from being compassionate with ourselves, following the flow of your support rather than competing for spaces that don't want to acknowledge you're awesome. And we talk about her phenomenal matchmaking skills that help you pay the bill. Finally, we wrap up in our conversation with how she is on a mission to leave a legacy of 25 homes around the world. So you guys, this is a conversation that you don't want to miss. Come on, grab a pen and pad because there is plenty note and take in this episode and chill around at the table with us.
Welcome to Melanated Conversations, our narrative from our perspective.
Here on the podcast, we are amplifying the voices of Black women and sharing their powerful stories of transformation.
I'm Terrian.
And I'm Yana. Let's start the show. Welcome back to another episode of Melanated Conversations. I am your co-host, Yana.
And I am your co-host, Terrian.
Welcome back, y'all.
Yeah.
Yes, welcome back. We are ready to share another lovely guest with you guys. Today, we have the Marketing Muse, Shauna Smith, on the line today. We want to welcome her. Welcome, Shauna.
Thank you. I'm excited. I've heard a lot about your podcast. I've heard it, and anything I can do to share information with other people similar to me, this is what I do all day, every day. So thank you for having a platform for me to do that.
Yes, of course. And marketing, that's important because you can't don't care what kind of brand you got. If you can't get it out to the masses, you can't.
It don't matter. It's pointless.
It does not matter. It's a great hobby at that point.
So our ears are peeled in for this conversation because we can always use and utilize these tips. So we're definitely looking forward to this, and we're excited to have you on. But of course, this wouldn't be Melanated Conversations if we didn't have a little fun before we chat it up.
Yes. So if you don't mind, Miss Shauna, we're going to play a little round of what we've now called Don't Drop the Mic. Okay. And here's how this game goes. I'm going to throw out a question. I will give you multiple choice answers. Myself and Yana will also play along with you. And the answer, there is no right answer. It's really just majority rules, basically. All right.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready. Let's
First question. According to Mama, what might you smell like after a long day? Okay. Now, let me give you your choices. A dog. B, musk. C, wet cat. Or D, outside. So I'm going to let Shauna answer this because she's our guest. We're going to let her go first. And then Yana, you can answer. And then I'll give
And this is what, who would say? Mama?
According to your mother. According to Mama.
She would probably say I smell like outside because I'm always
Okay.
outside. Always. If I can be, I will be.
Okay. Perfect. Yana.
Same, but I'm gonna take the approach a little different with my own children. They come from outside because I've actually combined a few of those. I was like, why y'all smell like a wet dog for outside? Like, how do you combine? How? And literally, they can be outside for just 5-10 minutes. How does
Yes.
that outside air get on
it
them?
to your
The
clothing
outside
like
air, the sweat, the other kids.
Woo!
I don't know what it is, but it is an interesting smell when they come back. Yes.
Isn't
that? Like,
it?
don't put that outside on my couch either.
Please. Please. Please don't.
But if I
I'm
had
in
to choose
agreement.
one, it'll definitely be outside. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Oh, you're outside. Yeah.
Got you. I'm in agreement with y'all as well. It's going to be outside. That's you smell like outside. What does outside smell like? It smells like you. That's what it smells like. Where you been? Out there sweating and getting funky.
Right.
Yeah, it smell like outside.
Smelling outside is the equivalent to, when they say you out there, you out in that night air. I don't know what the difference between night air
It's
and
just,
day air.
yeah. It's something about your skin and being outside for long periods of time as an adult. There's this different aroma that is created. It doesn't matter how much perfume, whatever you're doing, you definitely can tell somebody's been outside.
Absolutely.
Facts.
Big facts. Big facts. So, okay, majority wins. So we all won that round. Let's do one more question. All right.
Okay.
All right, let's do this. Okay. So y'all know, I know Yana and I watched this, but Shauna, did you watch the Brandy versus Monica versus? Did you get a chance to watch that the other day?
No.
Oh no. Okay. Well, this is not about that per se, but it's
Brandy. Wait a minute. Brandy versus Monica, like the different types of people that yes, I did see it. Yes, I did.
Okay. It was pretty epic. I think they said they had over 6 million viewers, like combined.
Instagram alone, they had like 1.3 million at one point. Talking about
it's pretty epic. Anyway,
good marketing for them. Let's just say.
Exactly. You better believe it. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off topic, but my next question is, okay, who would you consider the best R&B artist of the 1990s? Okay, I'm going to give y'all choices. Based off of these choices I'm giving you. Is it Mary J. Blige, Brandy, Aaliyah, or Mariah Carey?
Wow.
Mm.
I thought Monica was going to be in there. Okay.
I'm surprised she's not in here, but she's not in here.
Out of those, oh wow. So I guess it's a matter of two things: opinion and also record sales too. We'll say who was the best. It's two. Well, for me, I think I love Mary, but she until the recent, she's not been the positive person for me. So I don't like that kind of music. So I would say Mariah, because in the 90s, she did so many collaborations with so many people and all of them were hits. Like when we heard the songs, we all was like, okay, it's time to, dance, or if you're skating. So I think because of all her collaborations and the different styles that she went to, and she was able to go around the world with it, all different genres, I think it would have been Mariah. Now I wouldn't say it, but before the 90s, yes, ma'am, Mariah is my question, is my answer.
Okay, Mariah, we got one for Mariah.
Yeah, I'm actually leaning with Shauna on this one, and I'll tell you why. Especially like she said, in the 90s. We're not talking about present day, but in the 90s, because you couldn't hold a candle to Mariah and her from a hit perspective and number one perspective, but also she was the one who changed the trajectory of like R&B artists, like that female melodic vibe with rap artists. She was the one who introduced that, like,
the features.
Feature, yes, me and Mariah.
Hey,
Mariah.
Pacifiers. Hey.
She did the same thing Drake did. You know how he just came on everybody's music, so that you were able to see so much versatility from one person. I feel like she did the same thing. and if she would have been by herself, I don't know if it would have been as strong, but the way she collaborated, I, just agree with you again. I think she's an amazing singer too.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, she can do things a lot of people can't.
When you can hit that scream off
that register, that off the chart register. I don't even know where it is on the keyboard, child.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's something different. That's something special. Looking at, I was reading off the list and I was like, man, these are all greats within their own, like they held it down and they've got their own unique sounds. But there is something about Mariah Carey that I'm have to agree with you all with.
Okay.
And, she really did change the game. And it's crazy because when she first came out, she didn't come out with these hard-hitting songs per se.
No.
She came out with these more ballady type of songs, kind of lighter songs, but you could still tell like her voice was it. And then like Yana said, and also you, Shauna, like when she started to do these collaborations and these features, and it was like, oh, so you can mix R&B with hip hop. And I think she almost solidified that genre lane, like for Mary J. Blige, because then that's all Mary J. Blige would really sing over was hard hip hop beats. With Bad Boy and everybody, like that's all the type of beats that was produced that she would ever sing over. So she's got these hard hip hop sounding beats that she would sing over. And of course, Aaliyah working with Tim and Missy, you know what I mean? That was different too. But yeah, there's something about Mariah, and like y'all said, her voice. There's no voice like it. And Brandy come close because Brandy got a different voice too, and her tone is something special. Her tone
is. I do miss Brandy too, to be honest with you. They didn't have Lauryn Hill on there either, because if they would have had Lauryn Hill and Monica, we would have been talking about this for another hour.
You're right.
Honestly. I mean, it was so many. It was 90s in general, especially for female artists and female groups.
Yes.
It was a good time.
About groups. If you have 3 letters in your group or 3 numbers, you were in the group as far as I was concerned.
Exactly. Music it's funny how it changed, right? That was just the 90s. And now we're looking at a whole different scope of music that does not give you the same vibe that the 90s did. It just doesn't. You can listen to Pandora 90s and just relax.
You don't have to press the skip button at all.
No, listen.
That was back when you could listen through an entire album and not just a song.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, my goodness, Miss Shauna, thank you for playing Don't Drop the Mic with us. We could go on and on and on, but we're not here to just not drop.
I thought you were going with Erica. I was like, Erica too. When you said on and on.
Erica, yes.
Yeah, we cannot forget about Erica. But of course, we want to get into this melanated chat and have you share all the wonderful things that you're doing with your marketing company, the Marketing Muse. So without further ado, I'm going to throw the mic back to Yana.
Yeah, so Shauna, just let all of our listeners know. Tell us a little bit about Shauna. What are your roots? Where are you from?
So I'm originally from Hampton, Virginia. However, something that I don't always share when people ask me about my roots, but it explains a lot about my personality. My first 4.5 years of life, I was in Germany. And that actually was my first language because my dad was in the military. And we actually lived with the people, not on the bases. So something about that really has something to do with who I am today. But I grew up in Hampton, Virginia, then moved to Atlanta about 20 years ago, where something changed for me. I did a couple of network marketing things, we all get into that. But at that time, I was married. My husband and I lost everything. We had 3 kids, 3 dogs, the house, 2-car garage situation. And we lost everything because we didn't have the right insurance and the right things in place. And I made that one promise to God that, we all do. If you just get me out of this, I will do this. So what my promise was, God, if you could just help my family get back on track, I will dedicate my business life to helping others. And 13 years ago, I have done just that. My first business was called HomeWise Solutions, where I helped people who were struggling like me in that time, who didn't have insurance, credit, any of that. And I was working with banks and builders, during 2007, 2008, they were all crashing. So I was bringing those two people together. I had created a system where they would both win. That was my first introduction into big business, because I started out with one thing. And next thing you know, I had 6 partners, this huge office space. It really blew up in a year. And I didn't recognize myself. I was like, who is this woman? And so now what I loved most about that experience with the real estate was putting it together, and all the collaborations and the marketing and the colors and the brand, and how to keep it consistent and how to build it systematically and how to understand how to strategically grow. That's what I decided to do for other business owners. And that's where I am right now.
Wow. Off topic question, well, not off topic, but I know you were only in Germany for about 4.5 years. Are you still able to speak any of the language, or did it,
No, girl, no. I wish I did, actually. I wish I knew another language. I think before I leave this earth, I probably will learn Spanish fluently. I do know it, but I don't speak it fluently enough to be able to just have a conversation. But I'm very attracted to international everything. Mm-hmm. So I think that came from those 4.5 years, because a lot of people don't understand, why is everybody, around the world? What, you're just from Atlanta. How do you know all these people from different countries? I went to the Philippines last year and just made so many connections. It was very easy for me to go into different circles without any uncomfortableness. I think it comes from that 4 years.
No, that's great. I love that.
Yeah, that really is. And y'all were talking about languages and learning other languages. I'm not going to hold you. I've been, since the kids are virtual schooling at home, my oldest is in AP Spanish, so I've been taking Spanish with her. She don't know I'll be in the cut in the background taking notes, oh, okay.
You've been practicing?
By the end of this semester, we both got to test well, because she's not going to be the only one speaking Espanol in this household.
Exactly.
What is it? Todos los días? I don't know. Lo siento. I don't know.
No, that's cool, Shauna. And just, your experience and your journey, and, even through that hardship that you experienced, how you were still able to pick yourself up and, use that as a motivator
to be able to kind of move forward.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for finishing my sentence.
I got you.
Y'all good partners. That's what I'm talking about. I love that.
It's all good. No, yeah, I agree with you, Yana. That is very inspiring, because, sometimes you get knocked down and you're just trying to put pieces. It's hard. Yeah, definitely.
It is. I think that is the secret sauce to business. I mean, you guys didn't ask me, but just to chime into, picking up pieces and starting over after being in business for it could be 14 years by now. But one of the things that really is the way to really win is the ability to pick yourself back up, because you can start. That's easy to have money and to start, have people helping you. Okay, that's great. It's just stressful, but it's not like being on the ground with nothing. Maybe you lost everything. I have lost everything probably twice in my life. And from that, and I'm talking about being in extreme pain from a relationship breaking and the business breaking at the same time, laying in bed thinking I still have to make branding orders and, taking orders with tears in your eyes. That is where you develop a different sense of being a business owner, because you made a commitment to yourself. It's not about anybody else. And that's those are those magic moments that set you apart for future success. I feel like that's it. If you're the person that when nobody's looking, you're on the ground broken and you're still out there, that person's going to win.
Mm-hmm. It's because you know your purpose.
Yeah.
And when you know your purpose, you don't have not to be like, you don't have a choice, but there's something that fight in you that's like, I've got to make sure I get this done and get this accomplished, no matter whatever else is happening around me, because this is why I'm here.
Exactly.
And so it makes you move differently. I love that. Speaking of your business, can you share with us more about your company, TMM360, the Marketing Muse?
Yes, I'm happy to. And I just want to say again, thank you, ladies, for giving me an opportunity to be on this podcast with you. I really love how interested and authentic you are in this podcast. Like it's like we're having coffee or something. Even though we're not around each other, I feel like we are with each other, talking about things that we can all vibe with. So I really appreciate the opportunity. Hopefully I don't forget the question by the time I finish this next sentence. Okay, about TMM360. So
Yes.
it spawned off from the real estate business, because in a year I was able to grow it so kind of big by using marketing, relationships, and processes. And honestly, the business got big, but I didn't like it. So what I did was realize, oh, I'm really good at this, because I always study it. And so I just, over the last 8 years, have been studying and working with businesses on doing that for them. So each business is different because each owner is different. So what I do typically is have a meeting with the business owner, if it's the business or the owner, because there's personal branding too. So we look and see what is the best strategic way of putting out your business. It could be just Facebook and a podcast. It could be, we always do graphic design and photo shoots. I believe photo shoots are the core of branding, because I need the business owner or the company to see themselves in their best light, because maybe they didn't see it. And once they get those pictures back, they have an aha moment that's like, wow, I didn't even know I had that much light in me. From that awareness, I then take it to social media, websites, podcasts. I actually have my first client that I'm doing a podcast for. And we just continue to go, and we look at who are the strategic partnerships you need, because that's the other part. It's not just you alone. You need other people that you are beside, that you both have the same goals, so that you can grow faster. And so sometimes before COVID, I would do events. I would have clients, host their own events. I would introduce them at parties or throw parties, so that I would have other clients meet other clients. So it goes from branding development, design, website, to business development as well.
So it's like the full gamut. Because sometimes when people think just marketing, they just think about like, how can you present me on social media? Like, how can people connect with me? But that's just one segment of what branding in itself looks like.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
It's good to know. Also, one of the things that I'm always interested in hearing from the women that we share on our show is entrepreneurship sometimes looks a little different for us as Black women in navigating through this space, but it comes from the standpoint of like access to resources or, different avenues to keep our business sustainable. For you, how has it been navigating in this space of entrepreneurship, and what have you found has been some of the greatest resources that help you on this journey?
I would say, as a Black woman, one of the biggest challenges for having your own business is myself, because I feel as a culture, we typically take on everything. We care for everybody. We do too much and we don't let go. Because we want to, have control over everything, because that's just our personality types. We got it. Yeah. Like, this is all my friends. We all this way. I got it. I don't need you. I don't need any help. I'm over here. I got it. And so the first lesson is just being able to understand that you don't always have to have it. As a matter of fact, there are people around you that want to help you, and that's not only in business, this is also relationships. So that's number one for us. Even as I work with other Black women and doing their branding, it's a fight sometimes, because there's so much control over what I want, how I want it to do. And I'm like, but you hired me. And so this is what I see as our internal culture. From an outside perspective, depending on the individual, because here's my take on racism. I take it a little bit differently, which is probably why I haven't experienced a ton of it, because it could have been happening around me, but that's not for me to do, because every human being has the right to feel the way they want to feel. Unfortunately, if it's against us, it hurts. But my thing is, I'm just going to go where I'm celebrated. I'm not going to force myself into a hole that doesn't fit for me. And it doesn't matter what color is over there. If it's all Black, if it's all white, if it's all men, I go where I feel celebrated, and I can also celebrate others. And sometimes we have to feel that instead of forcing ourselves over there. So that's how I've been able to survive and not really focus on that. But I'm sure it's happened around me. But like I said, if I see somebody being, hateful, I do get competitive. Sometimes I find that if we're doing really well, people want to compete against us instead of let us work together. I feel competition a lot. I don't like that. From, my peers or outside people, like, let me just be great. And how about I can help you be great, or you can help me be great. So that is another thing that I always get that. And I guess I just have to I learned to ignore it. But sometimes I actually want to work with the person. Meanwhile, they're trying to be competitive against me. And that wasn't the plan. So that's been my experience.
It's something you just said that was interesting about when it comes to dealing with racism or not having to deal with it as much as that, you put yourself in situations where, you were where people wanted you there and not where you had to try to make yourself fit in. And that's definitely been something I think personally for me the last couple of years that I've learned and still am learning. It's like, if I'm not welcome here, if you don't want me in this space, then I have to be okay with that. And I got to keep it moving. And, a lot of times the saying it had been, trying to get a seat at the table. And it's like, no,
make your own table.
You have tools, make your own table. You've got all the tools you need to create your own table, make your own table. And then you invite the people that you want around you in your space to that table with you so that you can work alongside these individuals, no matter who they are. But yeah, that you have the same goal in mind. I love that. I love that. One question I have, as far as being an entrepreneur, that being an entrepreneur means that a lot of times everything is all on you. It's not like you have a huge team working with you all the time. And a lot of times you end up taking on all these obligations and instead of working on your business, you're working in your business. And just, I'd like to know, from your vantage point, how do you attempt to balance everything and go about seeking support for yourself? Because, like you just said, sometimes it's like, well, you call in you go in and help entrepreneurs to make sure that they can run their businesses more efficiently and effectively. But sometimes you may get pushback. But for the people who welcome that, and even for yourself, how do you go about seeking support for yourself, being able to balance everything as an entrepreneur?
Well, that's a really great question. And a lot of entrepreneurs are going through that balance thing, because I will be honest with the real estate business. I totally lost myself in the business. I was 100% obsessed. I ate, slept, drank that business to the point where my kids were teenagers at that time. And I kind of wasn't 100% present. I was there, but my heart and soul was in this business. I've never seen myself in this state. I literally, when it was time for me to sleep, I felt like it was a burden. So I would just sleep for 4 hours, get back. And I have never seen myself like that. I haven't been that way ever since. Because here's what I learned is, at the end of the day, if you have success, but you don't have the relationships around you that you had to work on as well, you're not going to be happy. You can think you will be, but there are so many people who have millions of dollars who are not happy because they didn't balance health-wise, because you have to be able to balance and for stress. So I had to learn some things about how do I deal with stress? Because I remember TD Jakes one time, and I'm not a big TD Jakes watcher, but I have watched him because he's very informative on the reality of dealing with things. He said the bigger your business, the more stress. So how you handle stress is going to be how big you grow, because sometimes you shrink. When you get too much stress, some people just throw their hands up like, the hell with this. I need to go sit down somewhere. So balancing, putting out fires, balancing self-care. That's a big one. This was my lesson for 2020. How to do things that I want to do, be okay with just being me and doing fun things, doing things for my mani-pedis, just little things, because it gives you rejuvenation. But the biggest thing, my biggest lesson about balance, ladies, this year is fun. And when I say fun, I mean real fun, not what you think, because sometimes we'll go out with a bunch of friends for a glass of wine, but you really didn't have fun. I don't know if you've experienced that, where it was supposed to be fun, but when you got there, you were like, this is just regular. It's not really fun. Fun
Yeah.
is when you lose yourself completely in a moment of time with people that you really love or that are like-minded, because what it does is it resets your brain to be more strategic when you come back. It gives you more power in your business. So this was my greatest lesson, besides, who you surround yourself with as well. So that's it. Like, I will definitely suggest, if there is a nugget for anybody who's getting into business or been in business for a while, if you're not having fun at least once a month, go zip lining, go whitewater rafting, go on a trail with an old friend, do something different. It will help your business.
Yes, that is so important. Rather if you're an entrepreneur or not, balance is so key. And Terry and I always have conversations around this topic, especially as it relates to me, because I'm a worker bee, and it's I don't know if it's a Taurian in me. I just I gotta and I'm hyper when I'm focused. I'm like hyper focused to the sometimes.
I don't mean to cut you off, but yes, it is. I think it
What
really
did you
is.
say? It was Taurian energy? Are you a Taurus?
Yes, she's a Taurus, and my husband is a
Yes.
Taurus, and like their birthdays are literally a day apart.
They are workaholics,
they are
just like me.
workaholics.
I'm a Virgo.
Oh my gosh.
So Virgos into
I am too,
really?
but I am too.
Wow.
Yes. But I ain't no worker bee.
One thing about me, I'm gonna go lay down. So
I'm gonna go lay down. I'm gonna go take a nap. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? I'm also the type of person though that if I'm home, I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna go ahead and do it and get it out the way so that I can go lay down and take a nap a lot of the time. I'm like, let me get this out the way so I have to think about it, because I don't want to go to sleep worrying about what I got to do next. I want to sleep and enjoy my sleep
without the guilt, right? Like when you wake up, I gotta hurry up and do that. So no, I'm with you on that. And naps are great.
Exactly.
Naps are awesome.
Yes. I didn't mean
No. You're fine. I was just agreeing that yes, and that has been one. I think even more so because we are all having to sit down right now in the middle of everything that is going on. That has been my lesson, and mostly in this experience, is that how essential rest, not just a physical rest, but resting of the mind, resting of the spirit, really tuning in, really creating balance all around you. Why is that so essential? Has been so that has been my learning lesson for 2020 with everything that's going on, man. This rest, man, that I still have bouts where I am still I have to pull myself in, and I appreciate that I have Terry in to kind of lean on to kind of keep me in line. But it is a struggle. But I also feel too that it's also an unlearning from what as Black women we've been kind of placed upon to be is this,
absolutely. It's almost programmed, based on generational stuff. This is a lot of things that people, we always have conversations about. Well, why we do this as a people? Why do we do these things? And a lot of times we have to be compassionate with ourselves and each other to know that this is generational. These things are in ourselves. So I think some of the ways to change those things is to get around people who have different mindsets. This is why another one of my go-to rules or philosophies in business is, if you want to change, if you want to be better or different or something, you got to go find those people who have different DNA. So when you hang around them, it's in every spiritual book. Even Jesus said it himself. You show me a man's top 5 people, I will show you where he will be in 5 years. It's very powerful. So a lot of times people don't want to let go of their crews or their homegirls or somebody that they're with. And they're feeding into their own demise because they need those. This is for us, in order to change that thing in us, to learn how to why do we have to take on everything? Why we got to take on our kids, the neighbors' kids, our auntie's kids, these people's kids, and run a business and do all this stuff? We don't have to. But until you get around another woman and see her, no, it doesn't matter where she's from in the world, because maybe she can teach you something different. This is how I balance. I have she might say I have a driver. I hired a driver, or I hired a virtual assistant, or I hired this. And you're like, I never thought about it. And so now you have a new awareness. So this is why surrounding yourself with other people helps with that growth of balance. I hope I didn't go off subject too much.
No. That was perfect. You mentioned something, and gosh, my brain is on mush right now. I probably need some rest today. Between this weather and computers not working with back to school, y'all, this is real life.
That is real life, and it's okay.
Mama's tired.
I hear children in the background chattering, and they know I'm in here recording right now.
We don't hear them, though. It's okay.
There we go. I was going to ask you, I was actually going to segue just a little bit on your new baby that you have just recently given birth to, which is Virtualocity. Am I saying it right?
Yes, and we recently just changed the name to Virtual Live because someone else had a name similar. So we didn't want to have any conflict. So it's now Virtual Live, but you can still find it at virtualocity.com. Yes, that is a new baby that was birthed in March of this year. And it was inspired last year. I was invited by my own virtual assistant to the Philippines by her father. And I really needed a break to see what was my next evolution, right? I've branded, but something was missing for me. Like either I wasn't helping enough people, I wasn't making an impact. I don't know exactly what it is. Plus I had a moment in life that I needed a break. So I said, let me just go. So he invited me to the Philippines for about a month. And I was traveling around the country with him. He was looking for the next best entrepreneur. So almost like a Shark Tank thing. Mm-hmm. But we were traveling all over the country via car, plane, vans. And I was hanging out with a lot of entrepreneurs from the Philippines. And it hit me, wow, all these great people here in the Philippines who actually want to work with U.S. business owners. I know all my clients who are, after I help brand them, they got their social media. They can't continue. They don't have the capacity to continue the social media marketing. They're getting out there, putting stuff out, their blogs, their videos. So I said, why don't I just make a matchmaker service where I match them with the right people? Because I've been doing it from the beginning, actually, for 10 years, over 10 years, I've had virtual assistants. I just thought everybody else did too. I didn't know they didn't know about it. So that's where I launched that business in March with my actual virtual assistant at the time, Joie De Luzuriaga, who lives in the Philippines. And it's been off and running. My goodness.
I can imagine even so right now, like how is the match process? How does it work with the organization?
So what we do first is I guess the thing that makes us different from other services, we match based on what you need from a discovery call and then your personality type. So from my background of being in business development and working with so many business owners and understanding them, you're going to get that side of me plus the virtual assistant because I've already done it for 10 years. So I take out a lot of the headache. So you fill out a form that's called like an assessment form. I just need to see where you are, what your process is, what social media, where you at, what are your pain points. From there, we do a virtual discovery call, but it's video because I want to look in your eyes. I want to see what's going on. And you do that with our team. So our team is asking questions of the business owner to find out what they need, but also to get a feel for who is a good match because we're doing long-term matches. We want the business owner and the virtual assistant to be together for as long as they have the business because that's where you really grow. And then from there, once we have that, we go find the best. We'll interview several people, but we look for the best two. The business owner shows back up on Zoom and they interview two people. They pick the best and we set up all the back office stuff for them and you just get started.
Wow. That's pretty dang cool.
I'm over here taking notes. I'm like, let me see what I can put down on my schedule.
That is really cool.
Yeah, it is. It's very rewarding, especially when you get a business owner who really wanted it, and they got the right match. Like I'm talking about some eHarmony type matches. One of them was so powerful.
Listen, when you said you were matching people not only based off of what they needed, but by their personalities too, because woo child, honey, sometimes you.
Exactly. Business owners are a whole nother breed. Okay.
Right.
So,
And to be able to work with someone that you mesh with, that gets you and that you get them, I'm sure that makes the process that much more enjoyable.
it's very rewarding. And there's been several times that Joey and I have been, come to tears because we know we solved not only the business issue, but that alone feeling of how am I even going to get to the next level? Because they found somebody who actually gets them, takes their vision and runs further than them. Like as far as technology, putting things up, like I had one guy, he didn't get the first two right. And so I was like, let's try one more because I think this is the person for you. I wasn't sure, but it was. By the time within a week, he had an ebook, he had a webinar, he had so many things, chat bot set up. He was like, I don't know what's going on in my life, but it's great. I'm like, okay.
That's really cool. That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Now, on top of you being an entrepreneur, business owner, guru, all the things, you are also an author. And you've authored 2 books, right?
Yes,
Have you authored?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How to brand yourself and how to work virtual assistants.
Yes.
Am I saying those correct?
How to personally brand yourself based on what I've done over the last 13, 14 years. To then the other one is how to work with a virtual assistant, because once you get one, they come back to me and they go, okay, so now that they're here, what do I do? I'm like, oh goodness. So it's a thing.
Yeah, tell us about those.
Yeah, so the how to personally brand yourself is really my roadmap that I did, which is very relationship based and just having a good time. Because in the Atlanta area, I'm what they call me, the plug, because I know everybody. I know all the leaders. I know if I need to get something done, I can pick up a phone call, connect 2 big people if I need to. And it's just because of the things I did consistently. And the book talks about like 7 things to do to get your brand going, whether it's a local thing, a national thing, or global thing. You just have to find those things that I'm talking about in the book to get yourself going. So that's what that's about. It's like a roadmap. And then how to work with virtual assistants talks about ways to actually grow your business. Because if you weren't here's the issue that I find as I've been building this business is business owners come to us, they want a virtual assistant, but they weren't sure how to build their business in the first place. So you have a business, but if you don't have income coming in, then there's something missing already. And you can't bring a person into that because now you're both going to be confused. So the book kind of talks to people about how to get their business and stuff going so that they can bring on a virtual assistant, how to prepare for a virtual assistant, things you should have in place, things like that.
Wow. Yeah. Man, you have, when I say like to what Terry mentioned, that you just a whole guru, like from.
I don't know if I'm a guru. I just been through hell and back. And I think I just got wisdom from it. This is where we get wisdom from, going for
Absolutely.
it. Yeah, you just go for it. And then I'm not afraid to fail. And I'm not afraid to try new things. And I'm not afraid of people who are different from me or have different money from me. I just feel like life is a gift. And I feel like we all have something special to give to the world. So that's where my purpose comes in. Is to help people find that and then shine the light on it and let's go. Let's get it done. That's because there's a lot of fear in shining your light. And that's where sometimes I get beat up on that. Not physically, but that's where clients give me a hard time because they're not ready to face their own light. Believe it or not. That's why that photo shoot has to happen. I need you to see this light that I see. So I bring together a power team to create this wonderful photo shoot. And it's just awesome. It's awesome. I'm very blessed to have my purpose, and the purpose that I have. I love it. It's very emotional. I'm actually very emotional talking about it. You know how you get that hot feeling in your neck? That's kind of what's happening right now. But yeah, I love it. And I love the people I work with.
I love that. And what I love about you is that, it's crazy because, you are a branding expert, but you have basically rebranded yourself in so many ways. Like you haven't been afraid to step outside and try enter new avenues, crossing different lines in your professional space. And for a lot of people, there are some people that are, have they know what their purpose is, and they know what they enjoy, and they know what, your purpose is tied deep into doing the things that doesn't require much effort. It's just something that is built within you to do. But sometimes we don't move on those things because of the fear of what it may look like to get there, because sometimes we're in a space of comfort. We don't want to step outside of that, or we don't want to start over. And the fact that you've done this and you've walked boldly into each of those avenues, and with each one you have continuously built up your brand, is definitely inspiring. And I would love for you to kind of tell us a little bit about how has this whole journey been for you? Like, what has been the most fulfilling as far as personal growth in this space of reaching and teaching others?
Wow, it's an amazing question, but I can already feel all the emotion come up. I'm like, so if my voice gets shaky, y'all,
no,
don't
it's
judge
okay
me.
to cry, because if anybody knows, I'm the crier on this show, so you can all cry me. I'm gonna say that.
You sure will.
I'm the crier on the show. Okay, well, good, because I know my eyes are very teary-eyed. So the journey has been one of the bravest things I've ever done, because you fail. These are facts. This is unevitable. You can't get away from it, because that's how I believe it's designed. From a spiritual place, is you have to fail to be stronger, to get armor, to know how to have intuition. So the harder you fall, the bigger you come back. And so for me, I don't know what God has for me, but boy, does he take me on some things. When I fall hard. And a lot of times I lose everything. And it's usually based on the business and or a relationship, because the relationship part is my biggest challenge, is balancing love and business. It's very hard for me. Because, and I have a fellow Virgo friend. We both said the same thing. It's either I just want to be with my business or the person I'm with. Both I don't know how to do, but I'm learning. Right? I'm learning how to put it all back together. It's a constant learning process. I've cried and become very, very close with most of my branding clients, are very dear friends. I usually wind up hanging out with them after everything's done, because they've revealed so much about themselves to me that now I'm a trusted source. I'm a trusted person, because I know their very deep secrets of how they got to where they are. And I took it and I loved on them. And so now my relationships are very deep, when even in business, like they're 10 years. I usually don't go anywhere. I'm a long-term relationship person. However, I do have very high boundaries. So if people cross them, I don't have a problem letting people go. I think that's the Virgo in me. Just like, that's it. It's a wrap. I've learned, if somebody shows you who they are, you need to pay attention. But so now, I'm on my legacy quest, and my goal is to, my whole why from the beginning, day one, why do I have a business, is because I want to leave 25 homes around the world to my family, my grandkids, my kids, their kids, so they always can do what I think is one of the best things, is travel. Because travel teaches you more about yourself than the actual culture you're with, if you actually travel with people from the country. So my goal is to find virtual assistants around the world. I'm looking to go to the Caribbean and Africa soon. So I'm in the Philippines, Asia right now. And hopefully Joey and I could go speak on stages at different colleges around the world to talk about the opportunity to work with people in the US and Canada and Australia. That's what I see for myself in the future, as well as continuing to brand and market big brands. I have my first $1 million client. $1 million meaning she's in that realm. Like that's her business level, like Fortune 500 type client. So I'm definitely probably going to do an intro to you guys to her. I think she may be one of the only Black women in the world that does the type of coding that she does.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we would love
Absolutely.
that.
She is this is where my life is great. I get to be friends with her. and talk to her about her business. And she is so humble. So this is what my life is. I get to talk to people about their dreams every day.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. I'm so grateful. I have a great life. And then I got my grandbabies that I teach them the same thing. So my little one is almost like me. She's 6, 7 and has her own TikTok, working on her YouTube. I'm like, I can't. But it's because I poured that into her, that whole video and branding. Everybody knows her in Atlanta, even though she lives in Virginia.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. And your goals and ambitions. I mean, first of all, come on now, you're going to get there. But I just love, when we think beyond just the day, the legacy, that's the goal.
Yeah.
It's the legacy. And man, the 25.
Man. I was thinking, like, this is personal for her. It's not just, this is so personal for you. From the, like Yana just said, from the legacy that you plan to leave, and I believe that you will absolutely do that, to even the relationships that you build with your clients, which when you were talking about that, I was like, I feel like that's such a Virgo thing, because we are people, we're just people persons.
Yes.
Yes. Like it's hard for me to, like, if I'm gonna call you my friend, like, you my friend, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it almost like where we're almost family, and I keep those people close. And a lot of times when I'm trying, even if I'm willing to let you in my circle type of thing, I don't want to say circle, but like, if I'm going to get close to you, it's usually going to be on a really more of a deep level. I can't be surface level with you, or
right.
It's just like, I really don't even want to do, because I may immediately catch your vibe off from the jump anyway, to even kind of tell whether or not, like, this is just, real something light, and it's like, I'm just not a light type of person, and that's fine. Like,
exactly,
you're a light type
I'm
of
not
person.
either. Like, I'm gonna go
exactly.
deep. I'm gonna deep. That's what I'm gonna do.
Exactly,
because I want to be real. I want to have a real experience with a real person.
Absolutely. That you took the words right out of my mouth, because I was just thinking about that. Terry and I had experiences too. Like, we connect with all types of women and men. Through being in this industry, in this space, all the time. And we exchange contacts and businesses and things like that can help each other grow. But for Terry and I, it's always based off the center theme of relationship and how we connect and that bond. Because here's the thing, I feel like with certain skills and things, anybody can learn the skills but you can't make that person have a personality or value the things that you value. Like, it's harder to find that match in that way versus finding the match from the skilled person.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And so that's why I feel like the reason that you came out and you mentioned that, how that is the core of your business, and how that resonated so much with Terry and I, is because that's how we operate. I've never heard anyone that really said that especially that's part of the business, is that they match you match based on personality. That is
that blows my mind.
Because listen, some of these personalities, I'm trying to tell you something. They are. One lady was like, I don't know what's going on with me. I'm just all over the place. I don't know about my relationship, my kids, everything. I was like, oh my God. But she was just being authentic, and that's really where she was. So that means I needed to find somebody for her who was very grounded, who worked with a CEO before, who can listen to, not chaos, but just take the vision and put some things in place to get that business owner in on a rhythm. So, when you have that person that can take your vision and put it in pieces to make it happen, you can't beat it. And then reason for me, my business partner, Joie, does that. I'm the visionary, creative, out here talking on videos, podcasts, and she just makes sure everything gets done. Like, she misses no beats. And so that's how we want our virtual assistants to be for our business owners, so they get peace.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Well, I've got one more question for you before we get into our closing questions. I feel like we could probably chat all day long, but The day's not going to allow us that time. So, but we are still in the global pandemic. And I just want to know, are there any tips that you could give us and our listeners who happen to be new entrepreneurs or even just entrepreneurs in general that have been in this thing for a minute, how we can effectively use our time specifically in this moment in history?
Yes, I've done a lot of Facebook Lives on this because I know some people, you are either going to choose one or two pathways. There's only two. You're either going to choose faith or you're going to choose fear. And it's not easy to tell someone who is fear-based to come over to the faith side. No matter how many books you read, how many times you went to Sunday school, it doesn't matter. However, in this time, this is the most important time to work your faith muscle, because whatever you believe and think is actually what is going to occur. This is, again, and that's a written principle in so many books that, we are kind of responsible for our own little world. We can't change COVID for the world. We can't change the riots in another place unless you're going to go out and fight for that or do some type of action step to it. Fine, go do that. But to sit home and worry has zero profit. Worry is just anticipating something bad happening, and it causes stress, all these other negative things in your body you can't get back. So if you know that to be true and you only have this world to control, which is your world, now is the perfect time because everybody's waiting. Everybody's searching and looking for something that can change their life. And that's what we're all here for, to serve. So you may be the person that has the thing that 100 people need to be better. So you have to get yourself right now because they're online. They're buying courses from regular people now. Everybody's realizing college ain't the move. Mm-hmm. So this is your time. If there is ever a time in history to really put your light out and what you want to give the world, it's now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's a word. That's a word.
I know. I'm so preachy.
No.
Honestly.
We're preachers over here. We preachers over here, okay?
I can stand up and go to the left and the right.
Come on.
And we will take up the collection.
We will take up a collection. Amen. Amen. Well, you say you can either pray or worry, but you can't do both.
Yeah, you can. And if you think you have faith and you're still fearful, you're kidding
fooling
yourself.
You're lying to yourself.
You're fooling yourself. Yeah. They do not exist at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, since you delivered a word, let's go on to our closing question. Let's talk about your power word.
Come on.
For 2020. I feel like we've all had something that was guiding us through this year. And that word may have changed over time. Some words may not be words that we want to say on the show. But but for you, in all seriousness, what has been, if you can think of one word or two, what would you say would be that word that has guided you through 2020?
That is a really great question. So the word that keeps coming up when I have all these words circling my mind right now, I would say clarity, because you have to be clear on what you want for yourself. I wanted to have more fun in 2020. And I said in August, I really want to push it. Like my goal is to push myself like I push in my business. I'm pushing myself to have fun in August, and I have way too much fun. I need to come back to reality because I went too far. I'm like, wait a minute, I got to come back. But because of that, I feel so free because I was clear. I wanted to have fun. I made it happen. I got some fun people around me. I attracted people that can give me that experience along with them. I was clear on, okay, I'm going to do branding and this is how, and I'm going to do the virtual assistant and this is how, and this is my goals. And this is how much money I want to make. And these are the people I need to be around so that I can have strong habits and things like that. So clarity of self and clarity of your goals has helped me this year. And if you're not clear, hire somebody to help you get clear. Because that when the fog settles and you can actually see clearly, you will see business coming without you moving. Like I said, when I first talked to you guys in the beginning, everything's moving. Sometimes, my sweetie is hanging out with me. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get back to life. And I get back to my computer and we got people signing up. I got branding clients coming on board. I have great teams around me, and wow, my life is in a wow situation right now.
Yes, I love that. And I love the fact that you chose clarity when you think about the year itself, 2020, and you think about that from the sense of 2020 vision means, true vision and how that even sums around like revelation and revealing. So I feel like you chose not even just a word that represents kind of what is guiding you in this moment, but honestly, what is the central thing for us all in this year, because I don't think we have got any more clarity around life.
Absolutely. We're able to
what's important.
we're able to see things for what they truly are right now. And like you said, Yana, the revelation, and just, there's no filters on anything right now. We're not seeing things through rose-colored glasses or any of the thing. We are seeing things for what they are, how they truly are right now. Now it's up to us, like Shauna was saying, it's up to us at the end of the day. We can only control our own personal world and how we respond to certain things, or, whether we're going to go out and fight for things or speak or do whatever. But at the end of the day, I think there's no denying that 2020 has definitely brought clarity. I know that's Shauna's word, but it's a word. It's like, we're gonna take the word too. It is absolutely.
The whole world is like, wait, I didn't know all this was going on. This is not happening. We got to do something about it. So I love it. Like, I just think it's painful, because remember we talked about this earlier. Change. Well, I said this on my live, but failing forward is how we're going to be better.
Yeah.
So we're failing as a world right now so that we can be better.
That's great. I love it. Do you have any new works or new projects coming this year or in the near future?
I do. I have, actually, for anybody who is listening to the podcast, I will send you guys a website, 2 websites, so that if people want a free guide to how to get themselves branded, it's like a 26-page workbook that I suggest you just sit outside and have a cup of coffee on a Sunday to really dive deep into yourself to see where you are for branding. So that's a free thing I offer. And then for how to work with virtualassistants.com, there's also a free guide on that checklist to see where you are. A couple of one online course is just 30 minutes. And then I'm hoping by the end of the year, my goodness, I do a course for people to brand themselves, because I don't want to, I am moving towards bigger brands. But I don't want to leave regular folk who just trying to brand themselves. They got something great to say. So maybe they don't have the budget to do all this stuff. So I want to have a course that's affordable, that a person can actually have the information to brand themselves. So that'll be coming by the end of the year, God willing.
Wow.
Awesome. And we will definitely include all of that information in our show notes. Also, can you tell our listeners how they can connect with you and get plugged into all the great things that you have and have in store?
So they can go for a virtual assistant. They can go to virtualocity.live to, see our process. There's the assessment form is there to get started. And then the discovery call, you can book that there. You can find me on Facebook at the Marketing Muse 360. That's my business page, but I'm happy to connect with people on my personal page as well, because, that's where a lot of things happen. I go live every Wednesday, and that's Shauna F as in Frank Smith. If you look that up, you can find me, or you can just email me at shauna@themarketingmuse360.com. I'm happy to help connect, things like that. So I look forward to meeting new people through you guys, and to also stay connected with you all and send you great guests, because I think what you're doing is awesome. It feels very cozy. I feel like I'm in my living room chilling with y'all, although we're not together.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a compliment for us. Because if you don't feel that way, then we have not done our job at being a successful host.
That's right.
Our grandma said you got to make people feel at home, and if we don't make people feel at home,
Yep.
No.
Exactly.
No, that's
No,
good.
we really appreciate that. It really is like an ultimate compliment for us because, we don't, this place doesn't have to feel all stuffy.
Yeah,
It has, we
we don't want that. We don't like
don't want that. Did you have something, Terry?
No,
Oh,
I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. Like Yana said, that was the last compliment you just gave us. That's huge because that's what we aim for our not only our guests who come on the show to feel that way, but even our listeners when they're listening in, we want them to feel comfortable, feel like they're at home and they just listen to their girlfriends chat, about all the things. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming on to our show. Thank you for saying yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
No, thank you for having me. And thank you for doing what you're doing, spreading the word, sharing information, free information to help people be better and more importantly, be happier. So, if you guys ever need me, I'm always around. I told you I'm a long-term relationship person, so I'm not going nowhere.
Bless you.
So just stay in touch, ladies. And again, I am very humbled and honored to be on your show today.
Thank you. Thank you. We are so honored to have you on. And to our listeners, again, thank you all for continuously helping celebrate and share with the wonderful women that we have and bring on the show. You guys are phenomenal in how you support us and all the women on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And we just really, really want to take the time to thank you all too. It is our mission here on Melanated Conversations to amplify our stories, the stories of Black women, share in our lessons and celebrate in our successes. And, we're just thankful to be, Terry and I are just moving in this mission. This is not about us. It's about us all as a community and helping each other, lift each other in our God-given gifts.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you all for that. And I don't have anything else to say because I want to rap before my tears start to rolling down my face.
You get a little time over there.
So
until then,
melanate on that.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed our chat today. Keep the conversation going by heading to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leaving us a review.
Have a story of your own to share? Email us at info@melanatedconversations.com or connect with us on social media at Melanated Conversations. Till next time, keep raising your voice. Are you someone who's ready to get your voice out into the world? Have you been considering starting your own podcast and not sure of all the things it takes to launch your show? Well, at Levels to Lunch, they've done all the groundwork to help you turn your dreams into streams. With professional knowledge and experience in strategy, recording, editing, and presenting, they have all the resources to help you in your journey in launching your show. From the do-it-yourselfer to that time-strapped podcaster that just needs to get it done, they walk you through every step to get your show launched and ready for the world. So go ahead and take that next step and make your podcasting dreams a reality by visiting levels2lunch.com. Again, that's www.levels2lunch.com.